From Cristiano Ronaldo almost losing his life in a car accident to a footballer robbed on the roadside with knives, these are the most scariest moments in football history. At first, what happened to Chelsea's John Terry left the entire football world in shock. His scariest moment occurred on February 27, 2007, when he nearly lost his life. During the League Cup final between Arsenal and Chelsea, in the 56th minute, Abo Diaby accidentally caused a terrifying incident. After a collision, Terry swallowed his tongue, which made it impossible for him to breathe. Fortunately, medical staff quickly intervened and he was able to leave the hospital just a day later. Thankfully, there were people on hand to help him in that critical moment. But another player, Tom Lockyer, faced a life-threatening situation he had no control over. When Lockyer retired at just 29, it left many football fans confused. He was in his prime, playing in the Premier League, but on June 5th, 2023, during a playoff championship final, everything changed. In the opening minutes of the game, Lockyer's heart started to beat out of rhythm. By the 8th minute, his body couldn't handle it anymore. He collapsed, seconds away from dying. Thankfully, medics arrived just in time to save his life. Lockyer later shared how he got the all-clear from doctors and was eager to return to the field for Luton Town, but it turned out to be a huge mistake. On December 15th, 2023, during a Premier League game against Bournemouth, things took a turn for the worse. After 59 minutes, Lockyer collapsed again. Fans and players from both teams watched in horror as medics rushed to his aid. For over 2 minutes, Lockyer was clinically dead, only to be revived by the medical team. Doctors had no choice but to install a device in his chest to constantly monitor his heart rate, ready to deliver a shock if it ever happens again. Lockyer, however, remains determined, wearing the defibrillator and giving football a second chance. His resilience has earned him the admiration of football fans worldwide. Tom Lockyer truly is a champion in every fan's heart. But there was one player who refused to retire despite a life-changing event: Petr Cech. During his second season with Chelsea, Cech was coming off a historic year and was eager to maintain his incredible form. Known as one of the greatest goalkeepers in football history, he was about to face a moment that nearly ended his career and his life. On October 14, 2006, during a match, Cech suffered a severe head injury after colliding with Reading's Stephen Hunt. The impact forced him off the pitch and into the hospital, where he stayed for several days. Cech later shared how terrifying the experience was. The scariest part was losing my memory. I would wake up, be told what happened, but within 15 minutes, I'd forget again. I couldn't remember the simplest things: my name, the date, or even what country I was in. This head injury was so severe that it nearly cost him his life, leaving Cech with no choice but to wear protective headgear for the rest of his career. Despite the ordeal, he defied the odds and continued playing for another 13 years, winning multiple Premier League and Champions League titles. His resilience and determination remain a testament to his greatness. But what if I told you another player's scariest moment wasn't on the field, but when he was surrounded by men with knives? It all started when former Arsenal star Mesut Ozil and Sead Kolasinac were having lunch before their preseason tour. Alongside them, they had watches worth up to $200,000 and were driving a $160,000 G-Wagon. When Ozil's wife got into the car, Kolasinac was left outside, making him an easy target. That's when two criminals jumped him. Kolasinac didn't hesitate. He put his own life on the line to protect his friend and Ozil's wife. His bravery earned him respect from fans and teammates alike. But for the next moment, one of the greatest footballers almost lost his life. Ever since Cristiano Ronaldo joined Manchester United in 2008, he had a passion for fast cars. Within just 6 years of professional football, he owned cars worth up to $3 million. But on January 8th, 2009, Ronaldo woke up to several texts from coaches and teammates asking about his whereabouts. He had overslept. Rushing to get ready, he quickly got behind the wheel and started driving to the training center. Then, disaster struck. Cristiano lost control of his car, crashing into a wall with such force that the vehicle was nearly unrecognizable. He slammed into a metal barrier in a tunnel near Manchester Airport around 10 a.m. that morning. Miraculously, Ronaldo walked away without a single scratch. It was nothing short of a miracle. But not every scary moment in football involves the players. Sometimes it's the fans who face danger. One terrifying incident occurred right after Leo scored a goal against Omnia in a League One match back in 2017. The crowd erupted in celebration, but the small safety barrier holding the fans back couldn't withstand the pressure. It collapsed, causing chaos in the stands. While some fans were fortunate to escape without injury, 29 were hurt, with 5 suffering serious injuries. Thankfully, despite the frightening situation, everyone survived. It was a chilling reminder of how quickly things can go wrong during moments of joy in the stadium. But for the next one, a player's almost passed away during the match. During the match between Bolton Wanderers and Tottenham Hotspur, Fabrice Muamba suddenly collapsed. Unable to move, it was clear something was terribly wrong. Medics rushed to his aid and spent 6 minutes trying to resuscitate him on the field, but nothing seemed to work. That's when a fan in the stands, a cardiologist, knew he had to step in to save Muamba's life. Muamba was quickly rushed to intensive care, where he fought for his life. He later described how, after the collapse, he had bizarre sensations, seeing 2 versions of everyone. Despite the best efforts of doctors, his heart wouldn't respond. Until, after 78 minutes and 15 shocks, they finally saw positive signs of life. It was a miracle. Muamba was incredibly lucky to make a full recovery, but at just 24 years old, he had to make the painful decision to retire from football. Doctors advised against any risk of returning to the sport, despite Muamba's deep desire to play again. It's crazy how one moment can change your life forever. But this next scary moment involved a player's family being held hostage. It all began when criminals in Paris started tracking every move Angel Di Maria made. Given his recognizable luxury cars, he was an easy target. After following him home from practice, they learned his address and gathered details about his family. The criminals waited for the perfect moment when PSG had a game and Di Maria would be on the field. On March 14th, 2021, the masked men pulled into Di Maria's driveway and held his wife and children at gunpoint, demanding everything they had. As the news of the break-in began to spread, PSG's sporting director, Leonardo, informed the team manager, who quickly substituted Di Maria out of the game. By the time Di Maria arrived home with security, the criminals had fled, taking $500,000 worth of valuables with them. Fortunately, no one was harmed, and police later arrested 4 suspects, all of whom were sent to prison. It was a terrifying ordeal that showed just how vulnerable even high-profile athletes and their families can be. But the next moment will shock you. One player's dream of playing in the Premier League turned into a heartbreaking tragedy when Emiliano Sala disappeared from the face of the earth. Sala, a towering striker standing 190 centimeters tall, was Cardiff City's solution to strengthen their attack. Known for his ability to finish anything in front of goal, Cardiff City signed the Argentine forward in what they thought would be a game-changing move. But no one could have predicted it would become their worst nightmare. On January 21st, 2019, Sala was scheduled to fly to Cardiff after finalizing his transfer. However, his flight was delayed for 10 hours due to unforeseen circumstances. To make matters worse, a new pilot was assigned, a 60-year-old part-time DJ whose pilot's license had expired and who was colorblind, a risky combination, especially for flying at night. Despite these red red flags, the flight took off at 7:06 p.m., and shortly after, it vanished. A massive rescue mission was launched immediately, involving 3 planes, 5 helicopters, and 2 lifeboats. But after 24 hours of searching, there were no signs of the plane or Sala. Devastated but determined, Sala's family refused to give up hope. With the support of the football community, they raised enough money to hire a private search and rescue team. On February 3rd, the private team found the wreckage at the bottom of the sea, along with a single body, Emiliano Sala. The football world mourned deeply for a young man whose promising career was tragically cut short. Even talking about this moment stirs deep emotions, as it serves as a painful reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those chasing their dreams. But this final moment isn't just the scariest in football history. It's one of the most heartbreaking. It involved Christian Eriksen, and what happened to him left the entire football world in shock. On June 12th, 2021, during a Euro 2020 match between Denmark and Finland, disaster struck in the 42nd minute. Eriksen suddenly collapsed on the field, and fans in the stadium were left in stunned silence. Denmark's captain, Simon Kjær, immediately rushed to Eriksen's side, positioning him correctly and clearing his airway to prevent him from swallowing his tongue. Kjær's quick thinking undoubtedly saved Eriksen's life. However, the fight wasn't over. Eriksen required emergency CPR on the pitch for 13 long minutes. Incredibly, just 45 minutes after this horrifying incident, reports surfaced that Eriksen was doing better. But despite the near tragedy, UEFA made a controversial decision to force the Danish team to finish the match later that same day, showing where their priorities lay. However, this story had a brighter ending than most. Against all odds, Eriksen made a full recovery, and with a pacemaker, returned to professional football. Eriksen was determined to return to the sport he loved, and he did just that, defying the odds. This moment still gives people goosebumps, a reminder of how close Eriksen came to losing his life. Yet his resilience and courage allowed him to continue playing the sport he loves. Do subscribe to our channel if you like this video.